Do you struggle with sleep? Does it sometimes feel like you're just fighting an endless battle? If you do, it can really feel like you just never get enough, and when you do, the amount and the quality of sleep feels so poor that you just don't feel rested. And of course, when that happens, it just leaves you feeling grumpy, exhausted, and totally defeated. Now, if this sounds familiar, there are some things which you can do which all add up to make sleep so much easier. So in this video, I'm going to explain the 7 common mistakes which sabotage our ability to get a good night's sleep. And I'm going to explain how you can easily fix these by making some small but powerful changes that all add up to a better sleep, more energy, and a better mood. And before we jump in, if you're new here, I'm Andrew Major, clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist, and I make videos about anxiety, depression, and mental health resources that can help you build a stronger mind and gain a better enjoyment of life. So let's get started, because if you're constantly feeling tired during the day, then your body's telling you that you're just not getting enough sleep. And if those nights of poor sleep all add up, it can make matters worse and can affect your mental and your emotional health, all due to sheer exhaustion. So let's look at the first mistake: what and when you eat. Now, when it comes to good quality sleep, of course, a healthy diet makes a real difference. It's totally a must, really. But did you know that it's not just the amount of food that you eat, but also what foods you eat and when too? Because, of course, in general, eating a big meal in the evening can be a recipe for a bit of a disastrous sleep, because your food doesn't have the time to digest fully. And of course, this can cause a lot of issues for you during the night, including heartburn and acid reflux. And this is most common for people who eat in the 3 hours before bedtime. So if that's you, just moving your meal forward could be the first thing that might help you improve your sleep. Because it doesn't mean you should eat nothing, of course. In fact, there are some foods that can be very good to eat before bedtime, specifically calcium, magnesium, and tryptophan. And these 3 vitamins really do help the body produce melatonin, that hormone that's responsible for managing your sleep-wake patterns and helping you to sleep easily. So having a small snack of foods which are high in calcium, magnesium, or tryptophan can really help with your sleep. And a few foods you could try include a small bowl of cereal, cheese and crackers, natural nut butter on toast, or even a banana with a spoonful of nut butter too. On the other side, there are some certain foods which are well known to keep people awake, and so obviously avoiding those before bedtime will make a big difference. And these include foods which are high in fat, foods which are high in protein, and they're difficult really for the body to digest, and so that will disrupt sleep. Spicy foods, for example, increase your body's temperature, causing heartburn, indigestion, and acid reflux, all of which are of course bad for sleep and are well known to be worse when you're lying down too. That might seem like a limiting list, but it just means avoiding these kinds of foods in the 3 or 4 hours before bedtime will help you sleep better, so your body isn't focusing too much on digestion. The second mistake is caffeine. Now, we all know that caffeine before bed isn't a great thing. After all, caffeine is a stimulant. It wakes us up and gets things going, doesn't it? That's why we drink coffee first thing in the morning. And if you've been struggling with sleep for a while, you might have already cut out coffee, tea, and other caffeinated drinks after 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. in the evening. But I bet there's something that you're missing. And it comes up a lot with my clients in therapy, because there is one thing that a lot of people eat in the evening that's also high in caffeine and almost certain to be contributing to sleepless nights, and that's chocolate. Yes, we all enjoy a good bar of chocolate, don't we? Or that indulgent chocolate dessert after dinner. Now, if you're health conscious, you might even be opting for dark chocolate, which is supposed to be better for you, but what it lacks in calories, it makes up in caffeine. In fact, some dark chocolate varieties have so much caffeine in them, you might be better drinking a cup of coffee before bedtime instead. For example, a single shot of coffee can contain around 75 milligrams of caffeine, whereas the worst dark chocolate brands have around 86 milligrams of caffeine in just 100 grams of chocolate. So if you enjoy chocolate in the evenings or even chocolatey drinks, cutting them out could make a huge difference. The same goes for any canned drinks, as they often contain caffeine too, which even in small amounts can cause disruption to your sleep. And remember, decaffeinated doesn't always mean the drink is caffeine free. It just means there's less caffeine in it than a normal variety. So maybe instead try switching out canned drinks for chamomile tea, which is a fantastic relaxant and often used as a sleep aid. Now, be wary of black and green teas though, as they often contain caffeine too, and sometimes more than a cup of coffee. Now, the same goes for alcohol, because while it might help you fall asleep quicker, It does stop you being able to stay asleep, and you'll end up feeling worse, of course, in the morning. Mistake number 3, body temperature. Have you ever wondered why the cool side of the pillow feels so refreshing, or why it feels absolutely impossible to sleep during a heat wave? Well, in part it's because our temperature can have a really big impact on how well we sleep, and as well as our internal body clock known as the circadian rhythm telling us when to sleep and wake, your core body temperature also sends out similar signals. Now, a healthy person's core body temperature will fluctuate during the day, going up and down depending on a lot of things, and of course it does the same thing at night, but the baseline temperature is between 1 to 2 degrees lower than it is during the day. As bedtime draws closer, your body temperature will start to drop. It's a signal to the rest of your body that it's time to get ready to sleep, and it's why some people feel so much cooler in the evenings. Now, during the night, your body temperature keeps dropping, which is what helps you stay asleep, and then as morning comes, your core temperature rises up again, and it will start waking up the rest of your body. So in short, you'll get better sleep and stay asleep longer in a room that's slightly cool. To get the best night's sleep possible, aim to keep the temperature between 15.5 and 19.5 degrees Celsius, and use sheets made of breathable fibres. Now, the last one might seem a bit odd, but your body temperature is decided by your sympathetic nervous system, which is affected by the way that you breathe. So maybe if you're using a natural duvet filling with an allergen inside, duck feathers are of course the biggest culprit, your breathing will get laboured and your body temperature will go up. If you feel too warm when you're trying to sleep, you can also try some breathing exercises such as the 7-11 breathing technique, and that helps the oxygen flow through the sympathetic nervous system and help control not only your stress levels but the temperature of your body as well. And 7-11 breathing is all about breathing in through your nose for the count of 7 and out through your mouth for the count of 11, so breathing out for longer than you breathe in. Mistake number 4, irregular sleeping patterns. Now, if you have irregular sleep patterns, one of the biggest things you can do to improve your sleep is to try and get back into the habit of a more regular sleep pattern. Now, as we've already discussed, your circadian rhythm is what regulates your body and helps you feel asleep and awake, and it works best when it matches up with the cycle of light and dark over a 24-hour period. So in an ideal world, you'd be awake when it's light and asleep when it's dark, and of course the modern world doesn't always work that way. So there are often a few hours on either side when you're awake when it's dark. But your circadian rhythm is a creature of habit. It likes routine, and regular sleep patterns help you keep your circadian rhythm in check and makes it so much easier to fall asleep. So a lack of routine will be fighting against your natural rhythm and your natural cycles, and your body won't be as ready to go to sleep, or it will wake you up much sooner than you would like. Think of it a bit like you're travelling and moving into a different time zone, so even a 1-hour time difference can play havoc with your sleep for several days, and it can take a while to adjust to a new routine. So having irregular sleep patterns is a bit like travelling to different time zones every day, but never letting your body adjust. Your circadian rhythm is left completely confused. The best way you can improve your sleep here is to try and wake up and go to sleep at the same time every day, including at the weekends. Now, of course, that might be a bit tough to begin with, especially if you're a bit of a night owl or juggling with shift work, but after a few days it will get much easier, much better, and it will become the new normal. Now, a few other things you can do include, of course, not napping when you feel tired, avoiding exposure to light at bedtime, so no screens before bedtime, and creating a relaxing bedtime routine, and maybe exercising earlier in the day too. Now, if your sleep patterns are significantly different to the light and dark cycles, you can also talk to your doctor about taking some melatonin supplements as a temporary support to get you back on track. Mistake number 5, lying awake in bed. Now, all of us have found ourselves, haven't we, lying in bed but feeling wide awake at least once in our lives. It might be just because you've come to bed a bit earlier than usual and your body isn't used to it, or because there's something playing on your mind and stopping you from falling asleep. Now, even if you felt sleepy when you came up to bed, as soon as your head hits that pillow, it's like the lights come on again and you're wide awake. And so you lie there trying to shut off your mind and relax so you can drop off to sleep. If it keeps happening a lot, you might actually be making it worse. You see, your brain is very good at spotting patterns and making associations and then changing what it does based on those patterns. So if you spend a lot of time lying in your bed awake, your brain will actually start to associate your bed with being awake and start to encourage that pattern. And that's the main reason why experts agree that if you can't fall asleep within 15 to 20 minutes, you should get up again and go into another room. So engaging in a relaxing activity can actually help your mind switch off. So instead try reading or listening to music or even meditating. And when you start to feel drowsy again, go back to bed. Another thing which can prolong your time awake is actually looking at the time. So if you've been lying there for a while and you want to know how long you've been awake, really resist that urge to look at the clock or to look at the time on your phone. When the lights are off, the clocks need to go away too until it's time to get up in the morning. Mistake number 6, worrying and overthinking. Now, if you've been making the previous mistake, no doubt you often do this too. There's a big link here because lying in bed, staring at the ceiling and trying to get to sleep can be incredibly frustrating. And your brain, having nothing else to do, goes into hyperdrive. Unfortunately, it doesn't send you visions of calm lakes or fluffy bunnies to help you drift off. Instead, this is your brain's chance to catch up on all of the admin and get busy. It starts to go through all the things that you have to do tomorrow, things you should have done today, things that you did do today but might have gone wrong. So it starts to go through all of that, and sometimes it feels like our brain just wants to torture us, stressing us about past events, future events, and even about not getting enough sleep. Our brains really don't understand irony. All of that worrying and overthinking is guaranteed to lead to one thing: more stress. And of course, when we're stressed, we can't sleep. And stress really is the single biggest cause of sleeplessness on the planet. So the more you lie awake, stressing and overthinking, the less you're going to be able to sleep. And the more you stress about being awake, it's just like a vicious cycle. And it really does take a change and some willpower to break it. Now, if you're a nighttime warrior, there are a few things that you can do. Mindfulness, meditation, and gentle exercise have all been proven to help calm the worrying thoughts and promote better sleep patterns. You can also try listening to relaxation or guided meditation audio, and that really helps clear your mind too as you relax. And I'm going to put the link to my guided hypnosis meditation for sleep above in the cards and also in the description below. And this will help you relax your mind and your body and help you just drift off into a nice deep sleep. Mistake number 7, medication. Now finally, if you're having trouble sleeping, many people don't realise that their medications have a big list of side effects, and insomnia is often on that list. There are generally 2 reasons why medication can cause sleep problems. The first is that it interferes with your sleep and your dreaming states, so even if you're asleep for a long time, you might not feel rested, because deep sleep is incredibly important to your brain and it governs learning, memory, mood, hormone balancing and brain health. And having that natural cycle interrupted can lead to an imbalance in sleep states. The second reason is that many medications can also contain caffeine and other stimulants, which is all part of their fast-acting ability. But of course, this can prevent you from sleeping properly too. Now, this can creep up in some very unexpected places. For example, painkillers often contain caffeine. So if you're in the habit of taking painkillers at night, this could be a factor. Now, if you feel that your medication is a cause of sleep issues, the first thing to do, of course, is to talk to your doctor or your health practitioner, because they may be able to change the times that you take your medication or move you on to one without caffeine, and of course that will all help. It's also recommended that you do regular exercise with your doctor's okay to improve your sleep quality, especially if you're on medications that can cause sleep issues. Many people that are on medication are also less active, and it could be a mixture of medication and that inactivity which is contributing to sleepless nights. And if you're not confident that you can tackle your sleep, I have some really good news, because high quality sleep is absolutely possible for everybody, including people that struggle with insomnia on a daily basis, because the human body is an amazing thing. It really does know how to sleep and what to do. It doesn't ever forget that function. So all you need to do is to work out what's stopping it working properly and address it. So I hope this video has given you some ways to give yourself the best possible chance for improving your sleep. And you can download the guide here. I'll put the link in the description below. And if you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. It really helps spread it to more people that need support too. Now, in my clinical hypnotherapy practice, I've helped many people tackle poor sleep. So if you're dealing with sleep issues, especially if you have a busy life or you're living with anxiety and stress, you can visit my website for more resources and support. But for now, you might find these videos helpful. And I look forward to seeing you next time.